Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. We're not doing an art in action project, but I just saw this fun art project online and I thought I would share it with you guys. It's something that I think is pretty easy to do with materials that you just have around the house, and it's a lot of fun, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Let me show you what we're going to be doing today. I'm calling it Line Design into Sculpture. And what you're going to need to start with is just a piece of printer paper and a Sharpie. And what we're going to be doing, or you can use a black marker of any sort that you want. What we're going to be starting with is something that you guys might have done before. It's called a Zentangle. And if you're not familiar with that, it's basically just free drawing patterns, lines, and designs any way that you choose. You can incorporate letters, you can incorporate anything that you want really into your design. And usually you would start by dividing up your paper into smaller sections. So you can use diagonal lines, straight lines, curved lines, any sort of method that you want to use dividing your paper into sections. If you really want to be precise about it, you can use a ruler, but it's really not necessary. Then when you have your paper divided up, you're just going to start drawing patterns, whatever you can think of. It could be something as simple as just stripes. You could make a more complicated pattern, something like alternating, maybe dots and scallop shape. Make sure that you put something underneath your paper because markers have a tendency to bleed through, so you want to protect the surface that you're working on. And you just want to keep going. Think of anything, any patterns, shapes that come to mind, and continue to fill up all your sections. It's very relaxing once you get started. You just kind of go and let your imagination just create whatever it wants. Once you have your entire paper filled up, you'll have something that looks maybe like that, and you'll have your entire Zentangle paper full. Now, when you have your paper finished, you can, if you have access to a scanner or a copier, you can make as many copies of this as you want. Take a scan of it and then print it out on your printer, or if you have access to a photocopier, you can copy it because we're going to cut it up. And I know it's kind of heartbreaking to cut up your original because it looks really cool just as it is. So if you can make copies and cut it, you'll get these strips, and you're going to cut them into 2-inch by 4-inch strips. And then what you're going to do with these strips is you're going to make them into little rolls. So I'm going to be using a glue stick to start out with. I'm going to glue one side of my strip. Then I'm going to take my pencil, and starting from the opposite side, I'm just going to roll it up around my pencil. And when I get to the part where I've put the glue, that will just hold it together. I'll just press that down. And I've got these little rolls. So I've got a selection of those, and you just keep going until you have a whole bunch of rolls already made. And it's kind of neat because they have a different section of your Zentangle patterns showing on each one. Now, if you don't want to do a Zentangle, or you do a Zentangle but you don't want to cut it up and you can't copy it, you can also do this project just with magazine pages. So just take some recycled or old magazine pages, cut them into the same size, 2-inch by 4-inch strips, and do the same thing and just roll up your magazine strips into these same size rolls, and you'll end up with a lot of interesting colors and patterns because you can't really see what was on the magazine page. You just get a little sense of the colors and designs that were on the pages. So once you've got that done and you have a whole bunch of rolls made, I don't know how many you're going to need. It's going to be something that you're going to make into a sculpture. So get a bunch of rolls pre-ready, and then you're going to use your white glue, or if you have access to like a low temperature or a safety glue gun of some sort, this will be a little bit faster. The white glue will need a little bit of patience, but it'll definitely work. What you're going to do is you're just going to start building a structure with your little rolls. So you put a little bit of white glue. I just took a scrap piece of cardboard to use as a base. You're going to just glue your pieces together. Now this is where it takes a little patience. You might have to hold it, say count to 10 or so while the glue dries a little bit. And at first, if you let it go too soon, the shapes are just going to fall apart and you're going to say, oh, this doesn't work. You just need to give it a little more time, right, to hold in place, and it will work. And you can start creating your structure. Now, like I said, if you have a glue gun, this will go a little bit faster, but of course you want to be safe when you're doing it. So just make sure that you're either using it with supervision or you have a low temperature glue gun. And then just start putting your tubes together to build a structure. So whatever structure you can imagine, just start creating. And it's kind of fun to give yourself a challenge. So maybe you do something like a challenge that's maybe a structure that has to be at least 10 inches tall. So you can see this one from the side. Structure that it's at least 10 inches tall and can support some weight on the top. I don't know, maybe it's an apple. I have a bottle of paint sitting here, so maybe it's a bottle of paint. So you need to make it structurally sound to incorporate a little bit of a challenge into it for you. So that's an example of one challenge. Another challenge could be building something specific, like a specific type of structure. So maybe you challenge yourself, build a bridge. So this is an example of a bridge, but there's many different designs of bridges that you guys could come up with. Maybe it's a skyscraper, maybe it's a tree house. Whatever you can come up with in your imagination, I think would be a lot of fun. It's a great project to just recycle some old materials, but also do a fun Zentangle as we're working on it. I hope you enjoy it. Talk to you later. Bye.